All right, thanks guys. Happy Wednesday to you. We got some MLB lines and leans out for today already. But before I get into that, I just want to remind you to check out my daily best play at patreon.com. And with a documented win percentage of 60% for the entire year of 2017, you're hurting yourself each and every day you're not subscribed. I also want to remind you that I'm 7-2-1 in my last 10 daily best plays. I also have plenty of free content on my Patreon page. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. The link is in the description section below. I also want to remind you to check out my headline sponsor. That's Jimmy and the boys at GhostPicksATS.com. And if you think I was great, if you thought I was great at handicapping games, these guys are amongst the best in the industry. That's Jimmy and the boys at GhostPicksATS.com. That's GhostPicksATS.com. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our Wednesday slate of baseball games. All starts are Eastern Standard Time. And I got up to a little bit of a late start here today, so I'm actually going to jump into our 2 o'clock games. We're going to miss the noontime games, so best of luck to you on those. But let's go ahead and hop into Washington, Milwaukee. That's a 2:10 start in Milwaukee. The Brewers are $1.25. Totals at 9 flat. 68% are leaning Milwaukee. And at the moment, we are looking at Roark for the Nats, Peralta for the Brewers. And speaking of the Brewers, they are 20-9 as the official home favorite. Very good at home. They've also won 5 of 7 Peralta starts. Meanwhile, on the other side, we are looking at 7-12 to the over when Tanner Roark makes the starts for the Nats. Washington's also 5-16 to the over on the road when the line was 9 or higher. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and take the Milwaukee Brewers -125, winning this one outright, and the under 9 flat. All right, next game, Detroit, Kansas City. That's a 2:15 Eastern start in Kansas City. And much to my surprise, the Royals opened up as the favorite. They were $1.30. They have moved down to $1.20. Totals at total open 8.5 up to 9 flat. And pitching wise, we're looking at Boyd for the Tigers, Danny Duffy for the Royals. And speaking of the Royals, real bad at home this year, real bad in those games at Kauffman Stadium. They're winning just 29% of their ball games in front of their home crowd. KC's also lost 13 of 21 games where Danny Duffy made the start. Now, scoring-wise, on the Detroit side of things, they're just 3-9 to the over in their head-to-head matchups with KC. The Tigers are also just 18-34 to the over in their games on the road. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Tigers, the underdog Tigers, winning this one outright, and the under 9 flat. All right, next game, Arizona, Chicago Cubs, 2:20 in the Windy City at Wrigley Field. And the Cubbies open $1.35. Little fade of them in the early going here. They're now $1.10. Once again, Cubbies open $1.35 down to $1.10. Total open 9 down to 8.5. And pitching wise, we are looking at Robbie Ray for the D-backs, Big John Lester for the Cubs. And speaking of Big John Lester and the Cubs, they're 16-4 in their games where Lester makes the start. The Cubbies are also 29-16 as the official home favorite, doing a real good job in their games at Wrigley Field. Now, total-wise, Arizona's 26-24 to the over in their games on the road. They're also 6-5 to the over when Robbie Ray makes the start. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Cubbies -$1.10, winning this one outright for some moneyline cash, and the over 8.5. A double public fade there. All right, next game. Oh, I forgot to cue that up. Next game, Minnesota, Toronto. That's 4:07 at the Rogers Center in Toronto. And the Blue Jays opened as the $1.25 favorites. That's down to $1.10. A little 15-cent fade of the Blue Jays in the early going here. Total open 9 up to 9.5. And pitching-wise, we are looking at Santana making his first start for Minnesota, and Sam Gaviglio on the other side for Toronto. And speaking of Toronto, real good in their games at the Rogers Center, 20-10 as the official home favorite. They're also taking on a Minnesota squad who's won just 10 of 31 ball games as the official road underdog. Now, total-wise, Minnesota's 26-22 to the over in their road games. And on the other side, Toronto's 8-4 to the over when Sam Gaviglio makes the start. So with all that said and done, I'm going to take the short shot here and lean toward the Toronto Blue Jays minus $1.10, winning this one outright, and the over 9.5. Next game, San Fran, Seattle. Come on, Brock. Let's get it going here. There we go. San Fran, Seattle. That's 4-10 in Seattle. And the Mariners open as the $1.25 favorites. They're taking money. They're up to $1.35. Totals at 8.5. And at the moment, 72% are currently leaning toward the Mariners. Now, pitching-wise, we have Holland for the Giants, Mike Leake for the Mariners. And speaking of Seattle, they're 13-7 in their games where Leake makes the start. They're also an amazing 13-1 in their games at the current money line price. Now, total-wise, the Giants are 9-4 to the under in their second game without a day off. San Fran's also gone 12-6 to the under when Holland makes the start. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean towards Seattle minus 135, winning this one outright, and the under 8.5. All right, next game, Boston, Baltimore, 7:05 in the Inner Harbor. And little fade of the Red Sox in the early going here. I guess that loss last night still fresh in the minds of the public bettors. Boston open 180, down to 170. Totals 9 flat. And pitching-wise, we are looking at David Price for the Bo Sox, Dylan Bundy for the O's. And speaking of the O's, real tough sledding against this Boston squad. They're just 2-10 in their 12 matchups versus the Red Sox. Baltimore's also winning just 21% of their ball games played at the current market price. Now, total-wise, Baltimore is 11-8 to the under. Baltimore's 11-8 to the over when Dylan Bundy makes the start. Meanwhile, on the other side, 2 out of the Boston's last 3 got over the line as well. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean Boston run line and the over 9 flat. Man, I'm real lax with this thing today. All right, next game, Oakland, Texas, 8:05, Arlington, Texas. And the A's are the favorites in this one. They open $1.10 up to $1.20. Totals 11.5. And pitching-wise, we are looking at Edwin Jackson for the A's, Perez for the Rangers. And speaking of the Rangers, they've dropped 5 of 7 when Perez makes the start. They're also winning just 13 of 39 as the official home underdog. Meanwhile, on the other side, Oakland's 5-0 to the under when Jackson makes the start. Oakland's also 7-4 to the under in their head-to-head matchups with Texas, depending on where you're shopping at. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Oakland minus 120, winning this one outright, and the under 11.5. All right, next game, Houston, Colorado. Wild one last night. They go to extras, and Houston puts up a 6 spot to win 8-2. But anyway, Houston, Colorado, that's 8:40 tonight, and that is at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. And no surprises here. Houston open up as the favorite. Not a big favorite, though. They opened 125 up to 130. Totals 10 flat. And at the moment, we are looking at Charlie Morton for the Astros and Gray for the Rockies. And speaking of the Rockies, they've actually really struggled at Coors Field. Just 25% as the official home underdog. They're also winning just 33% versus teams allowing less than 4 runs per contest. Now, total-wise, Colorado is 12-6 to the over when Gray makes the start. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Houston's 10-5 to the over on the road when the line was 9 or higher. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Houston Astros minus 130 and the over 10 flat. All right, next and final game for the show. It is going to be White Sox Angels, and pardon me, just got to flip the page there. I don't have my laptop today, so I had to write these notes down, and my my hand hurts. But anyway, final game for the show. It is going to be White Sox, Angels, 10-07, the Big A. And no surprises here as the Angels opened as the moneyline favorites, but a slight 20-cent fade of the Angels in the early going here. They opened 230 down to 210, totals 8.5. And at the moment, we are looking at Jimmy Shields for the White Sox, Tyler Skaggs for the Angels. And speaking of the Angels, they've been really, really good pounding those losing ball clubs, 25-15 versus teams under 500. They're also winning nearly 70% of their ball games played at the current price this year. Now, total-wise, Chicago's gone 13-8 when Jimmy Shields, 13-8 to the under when Jimmy Shields makes the start. The White Sox are also 2-0 to the under in their head-to-head matchups versus the Angels. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Angels, getting the job done on the run line and the under 8.5. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you to check out my daily best play at patreon.com/BrockPage. And with a documented win percentage of 60% for the entire year of 2017, you're hurting yourself each and every day you're not subscribed. I'm also 7-2-1 in my last 10 daily best plays, plus there's plenty of free content on that website as well. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And I also want to give a big thanks, a big shout out to my headline sponsor, that is Jimmy and the boys at GhostPicksATS.com. And once again, if you thought I was great at handicapping games, these guys are amongst the best in the industry. Jimmy and his team of young, hungry, expert consultants are the most passionate in the business. So once again, thank you, Jimmy and the boys at GhostPicksATS.com, for being my headline sponsor for today's program. And as always, thank you for watching today's program. I hope you enjoyed all this great free information. And once again, please don't forget to check me out and my daily best play at patreon.com/BrockPage.